Hello and welcome to my new video. I'm going to be using this photograph of my husband and myself and this piece of marshmallow white basil. I am drawing round this heart because I'm not actually using the piece of cardstock. I just wanted the shape, and I've got a whole load of stamps that I've pulled out of my kit and a couple of new stamps that I've purchased recently that I'm going to be using on this layout. So we have the Memento ink here, and I am going to start stamping all the way around the outside of my drawn heart here with various little sentiments. I'm just lining up those two stamps there. They say Happy Bunny, and I just wanted them to line, as you can see here, lining the outside there. And then that one that says someone special, just finding a word that I can put right in that corner there to finish that off. And then I've just made a little bit of a boo-boo, obviously put a little bit of ink on the page where I didn't want it, and hopefully I can cover that up later. So all of these stamps just say lots of different sentiments. That one says what's now, what's new, sorry, and then I've got then and now, oh happy days, and various different titles, a perfect gentleman, adorable, lots of different sweet words and little phrases that are going to go all the way around here. I'm just trying to think of the best way of laying them out and where they will sit the best, so that I can fill up the space and fill up the heart. So I need some smaller ones up in the crease there, just to fit right into the corner so they don't overlap, and I don't have any blank spaces, so I'm going to try to fill up as many of the blank spaces as I can at the end. And yeah, just stamping all of these out. These words have come from lots of different kits. As you see, that family, I accidentally dropped the stamping mat down, and it's turned out all right. I almost got it in the same spot. You can't really tell on the page apart from the F has a double line. This stamp set that I'm using at the moment is an Amy Tangerine one, and it has lovely words like this is for real, good times, and that wow. Loved that wow word. There is one title which is I'm putting on now. You're my person, you will always be my person. This one I want to stick out from the rest so that it can be read. This is from an Ink Road stamp set that's called Dark and Twisted. And the one that I put underneath the You're my person words say, we're adults, when did that happen and how do we make it stop? So quite liked those two titles, and thought they were just perfect for this picture of my husband and myself. Keeping in mind that Friday was Valentine's, I thought I would do this page and do a heart for this week's video. I did try to do this page a little while ago. I'd seen a similar sort of thing, I think on Pinterest, and really liked the way it looked. And when I did it the first time, it just, I don't know, it just really didn't work out, and I really didn't like it. And it's the only page that I've taken a 12 by 12 and screwed it up and threw it in the bin. I've never done that before with any of my pages, but I really just didn't like the first attempt at this. But this is working out quite nicely. I have collected a few more smaller stamps that will fit into here and now seem to have the right sort of words. I was always going to use this picture, which is a Snapchat photograph of me and my husband. And yes, I really like how this is coming along. So what I'm going to do is finish off the stamping here. I'm going to have to find a few little words as I've gone along. I have filled in a few of the gaps so that it almost looks like it's drawn all the way round. Things don't go too far out of the heart, and just wanting to make sure that it keeps that perfect sort of heart heart shape, and yeah, here we go. I'm filling in a few little bits and pieces, looking for tiny little words and having a look at what I can find to fill in the gaps, and trying not to put too many things the same. I think I have hello on there a couple of times, two different types of stamps and writing or typeface, but yes. And now I'm using my Derwent eraser. It is a mechanical eraser, so it spins round and it cleans up the page quite nicely, because I actually didn't want to have that physical line drawn out of the heart. I just wanted to give the illusion of it being there. So so yes, I'm quite happy at how this is turning out. I'm going to use my Shimmers paints here to create a little bit of a splashed effect behind the photograph, just to tie the colours in. So I'm choosing the blue. I do a little bit of silver, and I do in the end pull out like a fleshy coloured one, as there's no other colours in the photograph really. Moving that around, I spritz some water on it, and I'm just moving that around the page, just inside that heart shape. And as I didn't want the colour quite so bright, I'm dabbing that off with some kitchen roll and just putting a few little bits here and there, just to give a nice sort of water whitewashed sort of effect. Now I'm going to go in with the gold. These paints have a really lovely luster to them and shimmer to them, but they do need to be shaken up quite a bit. Just get in there with a bit of a paintbrush and take some of the colour. I spritz over the paintbrush in order to clean the paintbrush but minimise the wastage of the product, so that you're not throwing away paint, just washing your brush off. So I half clean the brush in the water that I'm using to water it down. Now I quite like that, but it needed a little bit more. So as I say, I'm coming in now getting a fleshy colour, because there's no other colours on the page, so I thought this fleshy colour would just give a little bit of a pop in places. So again, I'm going to spritz that down with some water and clean the brush at the same time. And this, I want to actually put the colour in certain places, so I'm going to let that drip off the packaging and pop that in the places where I want it. And I'm going to come in, dab a little bit of it, but as I don't want to remove too much of the colour, I come in with my heat gun to dry that off. I'm not doing a lot more on this page because I quite like this. I want the page to speak for itself really. So I'm going to be sticking that picture down, and I have a Perspex title from Bramble Fox. I'm removing the back and the front protective covering on it, so that goes down, and that's a dark blue and says "Live for Today," which is a nice little motto. And I'm going to be finishing it off with a scattering of sequins that I'm going to stick down with my glossy accents. Just peel the backing off that picture in order to stick it down, and then I come in, as I say, with the glossy accents. Now I have a little pen that has like a rubber end to it, and I'm squeezing my glossy accents off to the side of my page, because I want to, this glossy accents is starting to run out, and I didn't want to squeeze a blob onto the paper, so I kind of got it to the end of the nozzle whilst I was off my page in order to stick all of these down. And this little pen with a rubber end is fantastic for the sequins, because it picks it up and then you can push them down and you don't get glue all over your fingers. Title goes into place, and besides a little bit of journaling underneath the title there in that space that I've left, we have finished this page. So I'm just going to draw in a few lines there in order to write what I wanted to say, and so I'm going in with my journaling using a blue pen here. I say the writing says, I may not always say it or show it, but you are my world. And a couple of kisses, and then I'm going to take off those lines because I want to get rid of those. And there's the page finished, and our last touch is, of course, our cat. I hope you like my quick page for this Sunday evening, and please subscribe and like, and let me know if there's anything you would particularly like to see. Okay, thank you very much for your time today. Goodbye.